ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Namaskar, my dear friends. In this video, I am going to give most important teachings of Sri Annamalai Swami, especially in the connection of self-enquiry and self-awareness meditation. We present below a few examples of Sri Annamalai Swami's teachings recorded during his interaction with devotees. In his lucid, straightforward responses to questions, the core message of Bhagwan shines bright and clear. The correct way to pursue self-enquiry. Bhagwan has said, when thoughts arise, stop them from developing by enquiring, to whom is this thought coming? As soon as the thought appears, what does it matter if many thoughts keep coming up? Enquire into their origin or find out who has the thoughts, and sooner or later the flow of thoughts will stop. This is how self-enquiry should be practiced. First seal of the entrances and exits to the mind by not reacting to rising thoughts or sense impressions. Don't let new ideas, judgments, likes, dislikes, etc. enter the mind, and don't let rising thoughts flourish and escape your attention. Thoughts need a thinker to pay attention to them and indulge in them. If the thinker withholds his attention from rising thoughts or challenges them before they have a chance to develop, the thoughts will all die of starvation. You challenge them by repeatedly asking, who am I? Who is the person who is having these thoughts? For it to be effective, you must make it before the rising thoughts has had a chance to develop into a stream of thoughts. You must generate the conviction, I am the all-pervasive consciousness in which all bodies and minds in the world are appearing and disappearing. I am the consciousness which remains unchanged and unaffected by these appearances and disappearances. Stabilize yourself in that conviction. That's all you need to do. Look into the eyes of Annamalai Swami's eye. But I am so accustomed to feeling I am this little self, I need help. A devotee puts this question to Annamalai Swami. The little self will only give way to the real self if you meditate constantly. You cannot wish it to away with a few stray thoughts. If you can understand that this little self never at any time had any existence outside your imagination, just like the snake never existed, it was always the rope, you will not be concerned about way to eliminate it. Your desire for help in eliminating it is part of your problem. Don't make the mistake of imagining there is some goal to be reached or attained. If you think like this, you will start to look for methods and people to watch you. This just perpetuates the problem you are trying to end. Instead, cultivate the strong awareness: I am the self, I am that, I am Brahma, I am everything. You don't need any methods to get rid of the wrong ideas about yourself. All you have to do is stop believing them. The best way to do this is to replace them with ideas which more accurately reflect the real state of affairs. If you think and meditate, I am the self, it will do you a lot more good than thinking I am the little self. How can I get rid of this little self? You said that you need help. If your desire to gain a proper understanding of your real nature is intense enough, help will automatically come. If you want to generate an awareness of your real nature, you will be immeasurably helped by having contact with the Jnani. The power and grace which a Jnani radiates quieten the mind and automatically eliminates the wrong ideas you have about yourself. You can make progress by having satsang of a realized Guru and by constant spiritual practice. The Guru can do everything. The Guru cannot do everything for you. You must practice constantly in order to give up the limiting habits of many lifetimes. How does the Maya operate? How is the self concealed from itself? The self, which is infinite power and the source of all power, is invisible. Yet, within this indivisible self, there are 5 Shaktis or powers with varying functions which operate simultaneously. Creation, preservation, destruction, veiling, Maya Shakti and grace. The 5th Shakti, grace, counteracts and removes the 4th Shakti, which is Maya. When Maya is totally inactive, that is, when the identity with the body and mind has been dropped, there is an awareness of consciousness of being. When one is established in that state, there is no body, no mind, no world. These 3 things are just ideals which are brought into an apparent existence when Maya is present and active. The sole effective way to dissolve Maya is the path shown by Bhagavan. One must do self-inquiry and discriminate between what is real and what is unreal. It is the power of Maya which makes us believe in the reality of things which have no reality. If you ask what are these imaginary things, the answer is everything that is not the formless self. The self alone is real. Everything else is a figment of our imagination. It is not helpful to inquire why there is Maya and how it operates. If you are in a boat which is leaking, you don't waste time asking whether the hole was made by an Italian, a Frenchman, or an Indian. You just plug the leak. Attempting to find the origin of Maya with your mind is doomed to fail because any answer you come up with will be a Maya answer. Establish yourself in the self. Then watch how Maya takes you over each time you fail to keep your attention there. If Maya is a Shakti, what exactly is this Shakti? Shakti is energy or power. It is a name for the dynamic aspect of the self. Shakti and Shanti are 2 aspects of the same consciousness. If you want to separate them at all, you can say that Shanti is the unmanifest aspect of the self, which Shakti is the manifest, but really they are not separate. A flame has 2 properties, light and heat. The 2 cannot be separated. They are like the sea and the waves. Shanti is the vast, unmoving body of water. The waves that appear and move on the surface are Shakti. Shanti is motionless, vast and all-encompassing, while Shakti is active. Bhagwan used to say that after realization, the Jivan Mukta experiences Shanti within and is established permanently in the Shanti. In that state of realization, he sees that all activities are caused by Shakti. After realization, one is aware that there are no individual people doing anything. Instead, there is an awareness that all activities are the Shakti of the same self. The Jnani is one who is fully established in the Shanti and is always aware that Shakti is not separate from him. In that awareness, everything is his self and all actions are his. The universe is controlled by the one Shakti, sometimes called Parmeshwara Shakti, the power of the Supreme Lord. This moves and orders all things in natural laws, such as the laws that keep the planets in their orbits, are all manifestations of this Shakti. If everything is the self, even Maya, then why can't I see this self? Because you are looking in the wrong direction. You have the idea that the self is something that you see or experience. This is not so. The self is the awareness or the consciousness in which the seeing and experiencing takes place. Even if you don't see the self is still there. Bhagwan sometimes remarked humorously, people just open a newspaper and glance through it. Then they say, I have seen the paper. But really they have not seen the paper. They have only seen the letters and pictures that are on it. There can be no words or pictures without the paper, but people always forget the paper while they are reading the words. While people see the names and forms that appear on the screen of consciousness, they ignore the screen itself. If people were to be aware of the consciousness instead of the form of that appear in it, they would realize that all forms are just appearances which manifest within the one individual consciousness. That consciousness is the self that you are looking for. You can be the consciousness, but you can never see it because it is not something that is separate from you. How do I know if I am progressing in my meditation? Those who meditate a lot often develop a subtle form of ego. They become pleased with the idea that they are making progress. They become pleased with the states of peace and bliss that they enjoy. They become pleased that they have learned to exercise some control over their wayward minds, or they may derive some satisfaction that they have found a good guru or a good method of meditation. All these feelings are ego feelings. When ego feelings are present, awareness of the self is absent. The thought, I am meditating, is an ego thought. If real meditation is taking place, this thought cannot arise. Don't worry about whether you are making progress or not. Just keep your attention on the self 24 hours a day. Meditation is not something that should be done in a particular position at a particular time. It is an awareness and an attitude that must persist throughout the day. To be effective, meditation must be continuous. If you want to water a field, you dig a channel to the field and send water continuously along it for a lengthy period of time. If you send water for only 10 seconds and then stop, the water sinks into the ground even before it reaches the field. If you will not be able to reach the self and say, stay there without a prolonged continuous effort, each time you give up trying or get distracted, some of your previous efforts goes to waste. You divide your lifetime into different activities. I am eating, I am meditating, I am working, etc. If you have ideas like this, you are still identifying with the body. Get rid of all these ideas and replace them with the single thought, I am the self. Hold on to that idea and don't let go. Don't give these I am the body ideas any attention. Learn to recognize them the moment they arise or deny them. Stay firmly in the self and don't allow the mind to identify with anything that the body does. My mind is unstoppable. How do I bring it to the self? When it rises, the mind is automatically goes out into the world. If you do self-inquiry, you can train it to flow towards to the self. In deep sleep, the mind automatically goes to the self, but you are not aware of it. Through the steady practice of self-inquiry, the mind can be trained in such a way that it automatically flows towards the self in the waking and dream states. It is very difficult at first, but with practice it can be done. Repeated self-inquiry makes the mind go back into the self. Other methods may produce good experiences, but the good experiences will not make the mind go back into the self and stay there. Is it good to devote some time to stay healthy? It is difficult to do sadhana if the body is not in good condition. Hatha yoga is one way of staying healthy. Bhagavan used to say, however, that of all the different asanas, Nididhyasana is the best. He would then add that Nididhyasana means abidance in the self. Don't pay too much attention to the body. If you worry about the well-being of your body, you identify with it more and more. Look at it as a useful vehicle, maintain it, fuel it properly and repair it if it breaks down. But don't become attached to it. If you can keep your attention on the self without being distracted by unpleasant bodily sensations, you are healthy enough to do sadhana. If you do your meditation earnestly and continuously, you will begin to find that health problems will not distract you. When your abidance in the self is firm and strong, you cease to be aware of the body and its pains. We must take care of the body by giving it food, shelter and clothing. This is necessary because the journey to the self is only easy when the body is healthy. If a ship is not in need of a repair, if it is in good condition, we can easily use it to go on a journey. But we should not forget the purpose for which we have been given the body. Our purpose in life is to realize the self. It is an easy matter to get a little food and find somewhere congenial to live and meditate. Once we have achieved this, we should have no further interest in the world and its problems. Forgetfulness of the self is a big problem for me. Forgetfulness of the self happens because of non-inquiry. So I say, Remove the forgetfulness through inquiry. Forgetfulness or non-forgetfulness is not a part of your destiny. It is something you can choose from moment to moment. That is what Bhagavan said. He said that you have the freedom either to identify with the body and its activities and in doing so forget the self, or you can identify with the self and have the understanding that the body is performing its predestined activities animated and sustained by the power of the self. If you have an oil lamp and you forget to put oil in it, the light goes out. It was your forgetfulness and your lack of vigilance that caused the light to go out. Your thoughts were elsewhere, they were not on tending the lamp. In every moment, you only have one real choice: to be aware of the self or to identify with the body and the mind. If you chose the latter course, don't blame God or God's will or predestination. God did not make you forget the self. You yourself are making that choice every second of your life. If you remain in the self, inquiry will not be necessary. If you move away from the self and go back to the mind, you then have to inquire again and again, go back to yourself. Who is this I? It is neither the body nor the mind. If you remain as the self, there is neither body nor mind. So what is this I? Inquire into it and find out for yourself. When you see the rope, what happens to the snake? Nothing happens to it because there never was a snake. Similarly, when you remain as the self, there is no knowing that this I never had any existence. All is the self. You are not separate from the self. All is you. Your real state is the self, and that in the self there is no body and no mind. This is the truth, and you know it by being it. This I am the body ideas is wrong. This false idea must go, and the conviction I am the self should come to the extent that it becomes a constant. At the moment this I am the body idea seems very natural for you, you should work to the point where I am the self becomes natural to you. It happens when the wrong idea of being the body goes, and when you stop believing it to be true, it vanishes as darkness vanishes when the sun appears. This life is all a dream within a dream within a dream. We dream this world, we dream that we die and take birth in another body, and in this birth we dream that we have dreams. All kinds of pleasures and sufferings alternate in these dreams. But a moment comes when waking up happens. In this moment, which we call realizing self, there is the understanding that all births, all the deaths, all the sufferings, and all the pleasures were unreal dreams that have finally come to an end. Bhagavan has instructed us in Who Am I to see the whole world as a dream. When realization comes, nothing will affect you because you will have the firm conviction that all manifestation is an unreal dream. Final words. You stumble around in the darkness of your mind and not knowing that you have a torch in your hand. That light is the light of the self. Switch it on and leave it on, and you will never stumble again. You are all here because there is a desire in you to realize the self. This desire does not arise randomly or accidentally in some people and not in others. It is there because of the punyas that may have come from meditation, charitable works, and so on. These punyas will manifest as a desire for freedom, a desire to do earnest sadhana, a desire to find a good teacher in whose presence the truth will be taught and revealed. If someone is destined to be a jnani in this life, it means that he has come to this final birth with a mountain of punyas to his credit. These punyas will take him to a real guru, to a real satsang, and in this environment, he will do sadhana and achieve the goal. If one does not have this mountain of punyas from the past, there will be no desire for freedom, no desire to look for a guru who can deliver it. The self is readily available all the time, but we cannot be aware of it or even put our attention on the thought of it, because our vasanas are continuously leading our interest and attention in their direction. That's why it is so important to have the awareness. I am not the mind, I am the self. You have to forcibly drag your wandering attention back to the self. Each time it shows an interest in everything, everywhere else. Don't be interested in the words that the mind is serving up for you. It is putting them. There is to tempt you into a dream of thoughts that will take you away from this. You have to ignore them all and focus on the light that is shining within you. I ask you to put all your attention, all your interest on realizing the final teaching. I am not the body or the mind. I am the self, all is the self. This is Bhagwan's final teaching. Nothing more needs to be added to it. Keep good company while you pursue this knowledge and all will be well. Sri Annam Lai Swami. So, here ends this video. Please like, comment and share the video and subscribe the channel. Thanks a lot. Namaskar my dear friends. Namaskar.